Welcome back, everybody, to the Fighting for Freedom podcast.
Fighting for freedom, one podcast at a time.
What up? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode on the Fighting for Freedom podcast. Today I'm joined by Destiny. What's good, Destiny? How you doing today?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. So, Destiny, let's start from the top. Who are you? Where you from? Where'd you grow up? And what made you want to join the Coast Guard?
Well, my name's Destiny. I'm born in Cape May, New Jersey, raised in Philadelphia. I came and grew up with middle school, high school was military affiliate.
Mm-hmm.
So all of it was Coast Guard Naval Base. And so from there, everyone kind of that went there either knew they were going Coast Guard or some military. And it was a small school. 65 people was in my graduating class, and
Yeah.
almost half of us went to the military. So it's kind of like a given that you go at that point. So that's kind of how I just decided to go.
Well, that's not really like a. I mean, I guess, like everyone says, you should go to college, get an education. But then again, like going to the military is not that bad of like a set you up type ordeal.
Yeah,
So,
no, definitely
yeah.
not. Some
Like
people just
60.
went just so they could pay for college.
I was literally gonna get into that. Like that's one thing that
hmm
you can get out of the military is college. So it's like
Yeah,
you're kind of doing both at the same time. The only
literally, yeah.
downside is you got to go away for like 3 months and you don't get a phone. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah. So
Basic training's the one suck part.
yeah, but I've never heard about Coast Guard basic training. So give me some
No?
No, I mean I've seen some videos and like I don't know. Do you guys like? I don't know. I don't want to like make fun of it, but like I literally have no clue what the Coast Guard does.
No, I get it. I mean, ours is a little bit different. So, I know Navy, Marines, Army, Air Force, all of you guys kind of do more I would say more active things. Ours is more like classroom based. So majority of the time we're sitting down trying not to fall asleep and like a lot of learning. And we didn't really we don't have to do like crazy runs. Like we don't have to do nothing crazy. I
Mm.
feel like it's more of like a mental thing in the Coast Guard. Like I think like well, I went during COVID, so everyone was going nuts because we had the quarantine for 2 weeks in just a white plain room and we got served ham and cheese sandwiches every day. So it sucked. It
Do
sucked.
you even like ham and cheese, or are you like a turkey person? I'll
I'm
be
a ham and
there.
cheese person,
All
so
right,
I
cool,
liked
cool,
it.
cool, cool.
But it was like, eating it every single day and having the same meal for 2 weeks straight. It's like I'd rather have COVID and just be home than sitting here in
Yeah,
this white room with a book and some ham and cheese.
yeah. No, I
So it
agree.
sucked. Oh,
And then
it
like,
sucked so much.
yeah, they give you that book for 2 weeks, and like they expect you to sit there all day, every day, and read it and study it.
But
And
I think
then,
that was a good thing.
oh, you actually did read it and study it. You didn't
We
like
had no
draw and like
choice because,
color in all the letters.
usually, no, ours, it was like a small helmsman book and it's like all the rates and ranks and what you should know and how you should address everyone. And it's kind of
Okay,
like the
okay.
basic training rules. But people who don't go during COVID, you get the book and you're just supposed to study that whenever you have the chance and just
Yep,
winging it at that point. But since we
yep.
had 2 weeks, everyone kind of had it down packed when real boot camps.
That kind of works out for you. That was like one of the biggest things. And I know it happens in every boot camp where you always have like, you have like the group of people who actually like know how to read and they better themselves and they do what they're supposed to do. And then you have the
Yep.
group that just is completely fucking lost and you're like, why are you even
Yep.
here? And then you have that one guy. No, I'm lying. You have like those 5 people
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
night that are like, we need to be a team and work together.
Oh
And you're
my
like, shut the
gosh.
fuck up,
I'm just
dude.
trying to
Yeah.
get some sleep, man. Like,
Yeah.
leave me the hell alone.
Yeah, like
Stop screaming.
why are we doing speeches right now? Like
Oh my God, I'm like, and then it's at the worst time because like you're really in a chill mood and you have your mindset and all of a sudden, guys, I think we should study. Get out of my face. Like
yeah,
I've been doing that all day.
facts. They would make us carry out the same book you're talking about, but like the Navy
hmm
version. And it
hmm
was like kind of like a thick book, maybe like an inch thick. And
Yeah.
we would literally, like you said, have to study it and read it whenever we could. So if we were
hmm
like when we were waiting in line for chow, like you had your book and you had your head down, and
Yeah.
you weren't allowed to look up and you weren't allowed to talk. Well, my buddy, shout out Sean, was like talking to me, and I was trying to like stay under the radar, like do my thing, but my accent
Yeah.
didn't really help. They heard a New Yorker, and they were like, "We're gonna fuck him up," and I was like, "Damn." But this dude was like, yo, Vinny," and I was like, "Dude, shut the fuck up." And then we ended up getting caught by one of our
Mm,
like instructors, one of our
mhm,
RDCs, and he
mhm.
was like, "You two are gonna get fucked," and I was like, "Oh God, what does that mean?" And then it was like 10 o'clock at night. He comes into the compartment. He's like, "You two, I'm on watch tonight. Let's go." And I'm like, "Oh my God." So it's like
Yeah.
10 o'clock at night. I was just about to close my eyes and fall asleep, and next thing I know, I'm downstairs in a puddle of my own sweat, trying to hold myself up and do push-ups. And after that, I was like,
Absolutely
I'm never
not.
talking ever again. I was like,
Absolutely not.
I'm
Like
not a
kind of the
barber.
worst. I was like the crybaby in the group because I cannot stand being yelled at, and I don't know why I thought I was gonna just be not yelled at. And
Yeah.
the first day I'm just bawling my eyes out, and ever since they would pick on me the whole time. They're like, "Are you crying?" I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
I don't think so." Like it's
Oh
just
God.
sweat, I promise.
Yeah. Oh
Oh,
God.
I
Yeah.
couldn't.
Boot camp definitely makes or breaks people. But it's also like I always say this, it's the most fun I never want to have ever again. You know
You
what I
know,
mean?
and that's so true because it's like when you look back at it, it was like, damn, that shit was actually pretty fun. But would I want to go back for, 2, 3 months? No, I'm like, I'm cool off of that. You couldn't pay me enough to go back. Like, I'm
Yeah.
great. I'm okay
I
where
always
I'm at.
like I always ask people, would you rather like go on a deployment or would you rather do boot camp all over again with the knowledge you know? And people always say I'd rather go on deployment, and I'm just like, yeah, but like boot camp was low key like fun. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah, yeah.
if I knew everything I knew now, like it'd be ideal. And I don't know how it worked for you, like, but whenever somebody they call it as mode when they got like
Hmm.
sent back because they would fail a PT test or fail a test
Yeah.
or whatever, those dudes would come in and everyone would just hound them. But like, yo, what are we doing tomorrow? What are we doing next week? Because they
Yeah,
already
that's
knew, they
how
already
it
had
was
that
with us
knowledge.
too. We would always
Yeah.
like be like, "Hey, like, what did you do this week?" And us, it was called reverted, and like they would just and then it's crazy because sometimes since it was COVID, the companies were sometimes like booked 2 weeks back. So instead of jumping a whole week, now you're jumping 2 whole weeks back. So now your graduation's booked 2 whole weeks forward than what it was before. And it
Yep.
was like, dude, what did you get reverted for? And it'd be like, oh, I was drawing in a book and lied about it. And I'm like, dude.
Dude, could you imagine like about to graduate boot camp? You know, you call your parents, they bring the family members, they book the hotel, they get the
Hmm.
flights, and nobody in their right mind ever gets flight insurance for an extra $35. Sorry,
No.
Expedia, you can go
Yeah,
kick
no.
rocks. And then you got to
Hmm.
call your mom and dad, who probably like, use their savings to buy all that and be like, "Hey,
Hmm.
I didn't know how to read this section of the book and I
Yep.
failed the test, so now I can't graduate when I told you." Dude,
Right.
my mom would still pull up and she'd be like, "I need to speak to my son now."
I need to see
Come
my
in,
son.
beat my ass, and
Be
then
my
leave. Yeah,
beating
yeah,
your ass when I was studying, thing, man.
yeah,
She's like, I ain't coming back for the next one. I'm
yeah,
here now. That's
yeah.
it. That's all
You
you
bet you,
get.
you you bet you better figure this Coast Guard shit out because I ain't
Oh
coming back.
my God.
Yeah,
And they would always like tell us these stories, I think it was like the first 3 weeks they told us a story and they were like, hey, like even when you're done graduating, when you get on that bus, until you're off this base, don't do anything stupid. And they would tell us
yep,
a story about this recruit who just graduated, got on the bus, and the bus was driving off and he flipped off one of his CCs through the window and they stopped the bus and made him start all the way over, like
yep. I
completely
believe it.
from week one. I was like, oh, hell no. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna keep
I'm
my
good.
ass quiet this whole time. Like, I'm perfectly fine off of that.
Yep. One big thing a lot of people like to talk about or kind of get into is like kind of the chow halls, right? I mean, you had ham and cheese sandwiches. We know the Navy is kind of mediocre. We have like different ships, right?
Mm-hmm.
They call them ships, but it's like the different buildings. It's like 1 through
Yeah.
13, and some of
Yeah.
them are really good, and some of them are awful. Like there's no cereal, or there's
Mm-hmm.
milk and there's no cereal, or vice versa. The food is disgusting, and then some of them are really good. They have like pizza parties and shit. I'm like, I didn't know that. The Marine Corps, shout out to you guys. That's miserable. You
Yeah,
guys have to
no.
eat rocks and crayons all day.
My cousin goes through it. I told him, like, do you eat crayons? He's like, I think I have to keep that to myself. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want to know.
yeah, yeah. That they have a little grenade pouch on their vest, and that's not for grenades. That's for their crayons.
It's for crayons.
But Destiny, what about you in the Coast Guard for your boot camp? Like, how's your chow hall?
I can't say anything bad about the chow hall. I
It
would
was chill.
say the only thing is like when you're getting your food, the food was great. I mean, it's shit you don't eat on a normal. Like I remember they would have like fried okra, and I'm like, what the hell is this? I don't know, but I'm
Yep.
starving and I'm gonna fucking eat it. And you know what? Realistically, it's probably not good, but since you're hungry as shit, it's good as hell.
Facts.
And I think the worst part is after you're done getting your food, it's trying to now walk past the CCs without them calling on you just to get to
Yeah.
your table. And I would shit my pants. I'm like, please remember it. Please remember. Please don't fuck up. Please don't fuck up. And they would always call on me and I would fuck something up, either their name or the
Yep.
question got wrong. And I was like, but I mean, other than that, it was pretty good. The last day they gave us steaks for dinner,
Oh,
so
word.
it was great. Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, for us, like our last day, that one ship, that one building that always had pizza parties,
Mhm.
we come to find out it was like your last day, like after you're up for like
Uh,
48 hours and like, you do like all like the top secret, like Navy, like you have to do this in order to
yeah.
graduate shit.
Uh-huh.
Then they take you over and you're miserable and you're starving and you're tired and you're soaking wet because we're in the Navy, right? So you're gonna get wet. And
Mhm.
it's just yeah, they were like, "Hey, you guys get pizza," and I was like, "Dude," I was like, fuck you, pizza." I'm
Pizza.
just trying to get out of these clothes, man. I'm just
Right.
trying to go to bed. My
Oh
mom just
God.
landed, like
She
oh
landed.
yeah, it was like
So I
father
have a
time.
really quick question. I heard for your guys' swim call that you guys are allowed to wear life vests. Is that a real thing?
No,
No? Okay. Because
no.
I was like, that's kind of cheating.
Nah,
When
nah,
I
yeah,
seen it, I was like,
you don't get to wear a life vest. So what they do is, I mean, it's very safe, right? Like obviously,
mhm,
safety is like the number one thing when it comes to the military, and
yeah,
everyone kind of you have to follow that because if you don't follow it, you get in like fucking deep shit.
hell yeah.
But what they'll do is they have like this big platform, and I don't really know how tall it is. Let's just say 15 feet.
Mhm.
And you go up the ladder, and you have to climb the ladder. Two hands, like one foot. It's like legit. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you get to the end of the platform, and then they'll kind of give you like a signal, like go. And they
Mhm.
won't even like say go, but they just say go and push you at the same time.
Oh,
And
they
then you like,
push you?
yeah, pretty
Oh,
much, because
hell no.
people like to chicken out or get scared,
Yeah.
so they kind of like put your hand on. They put their hand on your back and like kind of like inch you towards it,
Mhm.
and then you'll fall in, and you just got to swim to the other side of like the big Olympic pool, and then
Mm.
and then as soon as you finish that, you can go for I think it's called class 3, which is like the expert swimmer. And someone will come up
Mm.
to you and they'll point you out and they'll be like, go into this lane and do like a shoulder swim or do like I don't know like a
Uh-huh.
breath what I don't remember, it was 8 years ago, but
Yeah.
they're like do this and then oh my god I was
I
big
thought it was
thunders.
over here because there is a storm going. So I was like, is
Nah,
that
holy
still
shit.
going?
My bad for all my viewers. Some thunder just scared the shit. I was wondering why my cat was walking around screaming. This dude's scared, bro. But yeah, so I got picked. They were like, "All right, you're gonna try for like the extended version, like the upgraded one." And I was like, "All right." And as soon as I started, I got maybe 5 feet, and they're like, "Get out!" I was like, "God damn it!"
Get
Yeah,
out.
yeah. I don't know because some people come in and like like they're prepped for that job, like that's gonna be their job in the Navy,
Yeah.
so they're really
Mhm.
good at it, and
Mhm.
it helps identify those people. But
True.
even if you fail that, which I do recommend, low key. I know it's kind of a bad thing to
Yes.
say, but if you're thinking about going into the Navy or you're in MEPS, or I mean not MEPS, you're in depth and you're about to go into the
Mhm.
Navy, low key, fail your swim qual
Mhm.
because you get pulled out of everything just to go swim in a big pool with all your
Yes.
friends.
For literally like an hour and a half,
Yeah,
you're in there just
it
swimming.
doesn't set you back in like
Mm-mm.
training, like they won't like demote you or anything.
Yeah.
You literally just get to swim for like you said, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Dude, I wish, dude. They would always come in like as we're getting like I'm gonna use the word hazed, but that's not the real word. So whatever
Yeah.
I can think of. Or you getting like you're doing like fuck, I can't think of the word. Whatever. You're doing push-ups and sit-ups and
Oh, like
whatever.
sweating? Well, we
Yeah,
call it sweating.
exactly. Oh, really? Okay. I think we call
Yeah.
it extra instruction. I don't know, whatever. And as we're all doing that, they'd come in and like call 4 or 5 people to come out to go to swim, and I'm like, yo, fuck, man, like I should have went swimming, dude.
Yes, I loved it. Well, our swim lessons were in the morning, so we would have to go like wake up with everyone at like 4 or 5 a.m. and then walk in our group to or march to the damn swimming pool. And it would only suck when the group would get smaller and smaller because everyone would start actually like coming out of
Passing.
swim.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, we're down to like 5 people now. Like, I can't walk by myself. So like we need to have like some kind of idea here. So I think we all just ended up passing the same day so that we didn't have to go anymore because being the only one there and we call it stragging. And if you strag throughout the entire base, it's the scariest shit ever. Walking
Yeah.
alone and then automatically seeing anything with the rim of the cap. And
Right.
I'm like, shit, I can't see what their rank is. And you're trying to really look like, shit, what are you? And then they get too close and then you fuck up and they're screaming at you. And I'm like, I'm just trying to swim, man.
Yeah. Do they let you guys like strag like when you have to go to medical or whatever?
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
to. Well, I had the strag to medical way too many times. It sucked. But I would kind of get away with it because if you're stragging to medical, if you just strag with a limp, they don't fuck with you because you
Yeah.
can't do a
That's
push
true.
up. They don't
That's
know
true.
what's wrong with you. And if,
Yep.
you fuck up something, you can just be like, I'm in pain. I'm going to medical. We don't know what's wrong with my leg. And they'll actually help you to medical. I ran into, this group, which I forgot what it's called, but it's when they're medically held and they're just there. They're not in a company. They don't have a graduation day. They're just waiting to heal. And the company commander was like, do you need to join my group? I'm like, no, I'm going home when I gotta go home. I'm just going to medical right now. That's it. And I just limped my way all the way there and back.
Yeah. Well, for us, I think they call it just like holding company. And yeah,
Yeah.
you didn't want to be with those guys. You didn't want to be in that group because some of them would be there for months, until like they
Yeah.
got processed out and all that paperwork,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Nah, I did an episode actually with this guy Hayden. Shout out Hayden, and he was like, dude, I would see these guys and they would like play Game Boys and wear like furry costumes, and I was like, what is going on? And he's
Yeah,
like, yeah,
it's
dude, because
so weird.
like they're on the Navy base, but they're not technically in the Navy, so like they're kind of like
Mm-hmm.
allowed to like do
Yeah, they're
whatever they
allowed to have their
want.
phones and everything. And I'm
Yeah,
like, can I
they
get a
have to like
call?
they have to clean and they have to like eat and they have to like be indoor. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of
Mm-hmm.
contained in a way. It's like
Yeah, they
COVID
can't
all
do
over again.
anything. Yeah, quite literally. But you have your phone the whole time, and it's like, damn, I'd like to have my phone be injured for a little bit. You're sitting here getting paid anyway. That money's just racking up as you sit there. So it's like, if you're not getting yelled at, might as well just chill for a little bit. Why not? Who
Facts.
knows?
So how long is your basic training?
It is 8 weeks.
Oh, okay, it's kind
So
of
I
like the
think we
same
have the
across the
shortest
board.
one. I think everyone else is like, what, 12, maybe?
I think I did like 8 weeks too. I want to say
Oh,
it's
okay.
I want to say it's like 8 weeks across the board. Maybe it was a
Mm,
little longer, and then they kind of like cut it down a little bit because they were like,
yeah.
there's no need for like all this excessive training because everything you learn in the Navy or like in boot camp, I should say, as soon
Hmm.
as you get out, it's completely different. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, it really doesn't matter.
boot camp just helps you like get on a better sleeping schedule
Yeah.
and makes you comfortable with being so uncomfortable. This way,
Hmm.
when you're ready to like, we're from the East Coast. You're from Jersey. I'm from New York,
Yeah.
right? But I had to go be stationed in California, which is the opposite side of America. And I was like, I don't
Hmm.
like. I wouldn't want to choose to go live in California,
Right.
but the Navy was like, nah, bro, you 5 years go, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go.
Fine. I mean, I got
Yeah,
no choice.
yeah. At that point, yeah.
Do you guys get like a dream sheet where you get to like request where you want to go?
Yeah, that shit fucking fake, dude. That shit fake. Unless like for certain jobs, it's
Hmm.
realistic because like their job is so small and it's kind of maybe undermanned. Like
Yeah.
situation always dictates. But
Hmm.
yeah, they gave us like a dream sheet. They're like, hey, like you're gonna get your orders soon, but in
Hmm.
order to help accommodate like where you would want to go, we have like a dream sheet and you could pick where you want to go. And we get
Hmm.
like three options. It
Yeah.
was East Coast, West Coast, or overseas. And
Mm.
I was like, all right, well, I'm from the East Coast, so I'll go East Coast. And then I was like, well, overseas would be dope too, right? I joined the
Yeah.
Navy, joined the military to
Hmm.
travel. I want to go.
Right.
I want to get on a free flight, get free room and board, and free food, and go live
And get
somewhere.
paid while you're at
And then I
it.
was like, West Coast. I was like, sounds terrible. I'll put that last. I got West Coast.
Oh, I would hate to go to West Coast. My
It's like
friend,
they take
Christ.
your dream sheet and they just flip it upside down and they're like,
Yeah, and
all
then
right,
like we'll go with that
that,
one. That's literally
yeah,
what happened to my best friend. She didn't choose to go to Maryland, and it was like at the bottom. I think she wanted to go Alaska. I think that was up somewhere at the top.
that'd
And
be
I
dope.
thought they would give her Alaska, but they didn't. They gave her freaking Maryland, and she's like, "What the hell am I supposed to do in Maryland?" I'm like, "I don't know.
Get
I
on a
don't
boat,
know."
I guess. Yeah.
But she said they had no crazy calls. It was kind of just like, "I lost my surfboard. Can you go get it?"
Really?
Yeah,
Damn, the Coast Guard be getting
sucks.
calls like that.
Where I was stationed, it was more sometimes were prank calls, and we have to go out anyway. So it's like you can prank call, and the minimum we have to be out is like 3, 4 hours. So it's like we got a prank call now. It's 3 a.m. and we're just chilling on the boat.
Yeah, just wait.
So
Damn. All
just
right. Well, you
waiting.
said where you were stationed, so let's backtrack to the day Destiny graduates boot camp. Where do you go after that?
Well, I'm supposed to go to Atlantic City. So boot camp's in Cape May, and it's literally just 45-minute ride from Cape May to
No.
AC. And I was like, I got lucky because I'm like, I get to stay close to home. But,
Facts.
then I got unlucky when they picked me up. And on the way there, I think that we were maybe 20 minutes away from the unit. We were still on the parkway and we had went over this hill. He was going fast. It's the parkway, I mean, kind
Yeah.
of what you do on the parkway. You go around 75 miles per hour. And we didn't know on the other side of the lump there was traffic. And so when we got on
Oh.
the top, he had noticed and tried to slam on the brakes. Brakes didn't like acted like they didn't work. Like it literally just felt like a little nudge and then the car just kept shooting straight. And then he tried to dodge it. So he swerved, but an aluminum truck, like a truck that had an aluminum ladder, also swerved. So we went right into the back of him. Truck didn't even look like it was touched. The truck we were in totaled. No airbags blew. So when I tell you my entire body just yeeted forward and then backwards, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. And then
Damn.
I was in such shock. There was smoke everywhere. He's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
like, I just graduated. I'm like, what the hell? I don't even know what to do. Like, I don't even know how to live normal life right now. And I just got into a freaking accident. So I get out and I notice like I couldn't really walk, but I didn't want to say anything because I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But I was in such shock. I didn't feel any pain.
Yeah, your
Ambulance
adrenaline
came,
was kicking.
took me to the hospital. Nothing was broken, but I have 4 slip discs in my spine, which just now came about 2 years ago that we did scans because all they did was x-rays, but it's hard to figure out back problems without an underlying like thing.
Hmm.
So they only did an x-ray on my hips and nothing shown. But now I got scans. There's 4 slip discs. And since it's been so long, my ligaments are grown over and around a nerve, bilateral hip tendonitis, and there's tears in my hips. My left knee is trashed. So it's like, and then
Dude.
PTSD, I'm scared as shit to drive. Even I live next to the parkway. So it's like,
Mhm.
I gotta drive it sometimes and I'm like, don't crash. Okay, we're gonna go slow. We're gonna
Yeah.
do this. And I walk around with this bad boy
What is
and
that?
it
What is that?
sucks. A cane.
Oh, a cane. Oh,
A
I'm
cane.
sorry, but for some reason it looked like a whip. Just from the top of it, I was like, "Why do you have a whip?"
Oh my God.
It low key do. Oh, damn.
No. Yeah. So after that, I was in and out of physical therapy, seeing specialists throughout my time. And it was like, there was other things going on, like personal life wise. And then it got to a point where I wasn't getting the medical help that I needed. And they kind
Yeah.
of swept the accident under the rug. And that's the thing. I had a bad experience with the Coast Guard, and it might just be because I was in for only a year. But a lot
Mm.
of things going on get swept under the rug if you're not like high ranking. Like if I was only a
I get that.
non-rate and, things that were going on with third classes and, first, second classes, that was getting swept under the rug because I'm like the least needed there.
Hmm.
So, I mean, the accident, I didn't get like like how you get compensation for like an accident and stuff. I didn't, which I figured because, it was military equipment, but they swept that under the rug and then didn't give me the treatment that I needed, even though I constantly complained of pain. And then I just requested a hardship out, which people don't know that you have that option. And people just think I have to serve my whole thing or I get out dishonorably discharged. If there's like stuff going on mentally medically. If you go medical, it'll take you around a year to get out. But if it's so much to where you can't even do your job for another 2 days, you can hardship out. And that's always an option. And it's always honorable.
Yeah, that's true. So when you do get out, though, obviously you still have all these medical problems. You
Yep.
get out honorably. So do you still have like connections to like go through the VA and like actually
Yeah.
be seen
So
and be
I
taken
did
care of?
that immediately once I filed my hardship. As soon as you get your DD-214, you're able to file with the VA. You can find a place that will kind of support you. I go through the DAV, Chapter 22, or Chapter 24. 24. I go through them, so they help me fill out paperwork. They're there for support, and then your first VA claim is going to take you about a year if you're not going through a medical discharge because they kind of go hand in hand with each other. So,
Hmm.
it takes the same amount of time, but your first VA will be about a year. And it's a fight because the VA percentages make no goddamn sense. And
Yeah,
you kind of just winging it here and there. You gotta make sure when you go in there, you tell them all about your hard days. And if you're like, yeah, sometimes I feel okay, they're gonna take that as she feels okay majority of the time. So that's
yeah,
just how it is. So it's
yeah.
just a fight with the VA and military.
And then they'll be like, "Oh, well, it's not service related," or they'll be like, "All right, you're approved 90%, and then your
Yep.
disability is 40%." And
Yep.
you're like, how does that math
It
like
makes,
what?
I'm at 90 right now with, it's my 70% PTSD, 40% for my back, 20 for my knee, and 10 for each of my hips. That don't make any sense
Yeah,
on how I'm at 90%, fam. What's
yeah,
going on here?
yeah. I honestly don't get that at all.
No.
But
And then
I
the
mean,
the freaking chart's crazy to read.
yeah, there's like that CF guide. I don't know. I can't think of like the name off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're nodding your head because you're like, yeah, he's in the right path. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
literally.
uh-huh. Yeah. I always tell people like this one of the main reasons why I do like this podcast is just to let people know like there are so many resources out there and so many people who have been through this shit. For
Yeah.
example, Destiny, right? Destiny got injured. She wasn't getting the help. It is possible to get out of the military before your
Mm-hmm.
contract is up and get yourself taken care of. Because
Yeah.
if you don't take care of yourself, who's gonna do it?
Because they don't care.
No. Especially like
Realistically, they don't.
you're on your way to your first command, like your unit. They don't know who you are. They don't
Nope.
know you haven't really done anything for them. And
Yep.
it's shitty to say, because you would think, people would have your
Mm-hmm.
back. But at the
Nope.
end of the day, it's never really like that. Unless
No,
like
it's so
you've been in a
shitty.
while.
And I feel like I automatically had a target on my back from the accident because I went to medical the next day and it was my first time at medical and I was already having issues walking with my hips.
Hmm.
And so I wanted crutches. So they gave me crutches and put me on light duty for 2 months. And I'm like, I need crutches. Did you see that?
Yeah, we got some balloons in the background. Hey,
I'm like, what
something's
is
going
going
on.
on?
Is it your birthday or something?
No,
I don't
not at
know.
all.
I don't know, man. Hey,
But
we just roll with it.
yeah, I'm like, freaking
Yeah.
balloons.
That,
um, but
when you got your
yeah,
90%, that's when you got balloons. Yeah. And
listen, I'll
when
take
you get
it.
100, when you get 100%, we'll get some fireworks.
Fireworks and a cake. Okay,
Yeah.
it's so hard to get 100%. It
Yeah.
sucks. But yeah, I mean, I feel like as a non-rate, they teach you all this stuff in boot camp about how to, be strong when there's, people yelling at you. And it kind of does move forward into like your first few weeks at your new station because it's like everyone's looking at you. And
Yep.
the Coast Guard does it. I don't know if every, thing does it or if it's just my unit. But once they know that you're coming there and they have your name, they look up your social media and
Oh,
they do
100%.
so much research. I was there and they were like, hey, there's a video of you drinking on your Facebook. You should take that off. And I'm like, what are you talking about? When?
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
like went to it and showed me. I'm like, why were you going through my Facebook? Like, damn, I just got here. But I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like it's a lot of games and, it's kind of like you got to be strong enough to deal with it. And I was going through so much shit, like injury wise and like all this stuff going on back at home. And it was like, I gotta get the hell out of here. because
Yeah.
I tried getting stationed somewhere else and I ended up getting stationed in Philly. And that's not any better because then they just had me sitting behind a computer standing watch every day. And I'm like, well, this isn't helping either because I can't sit for this long because my hips hurt. And they were
Yeah.
like, well, now we have to put you. I was actually on probation I was supposed to be on probation for 6 months. And that's a very long time to not have, not get any qualifications. Then you have to retake all your qualifications because it's been so long you haven't, trained or anything on it. So I was like resetting mouse traps and sweeping the helo pad. I don't know if anyone listening has swept the helo pad, but it's fucking pointless. That's the point. It's literally fucking, that's like mopping the helo pad after it rains. It's fucking pointless. And I'm like, it's too hot out here. And you got me standing on these badass hips. And every time I would be like, listen, I got to go to the hospital. Like I'm in too much pain. It's always a complaint. And then, they would have me doing more strenuous. Like I had to power wash the building. And I'm like, I'm too fucking short for this shit. And I don't even know how to use a power wash. Like I just had a hose and I'm just like, it's working. So, I mean, you got to work through it, but, if you feel like you're being mistreated in any kind of way, definitely search hardship or, request a transfer, see how that works. And if not, you always have options.
Facts. And you know what? I mean, people might want to I want to say not swallow their pride and, not want to say, hey, like, I'm in pain. Hey, this
Yeah.
hurts. Or, hey,
Yeah.
like, I can't do this. Like, I need to go to medical.
Hmm.
And that should not be the case. Like,
No.
if you feel that way, and Destiny, you can attest, if you feel that way, go. Because all those
Yeah.
people who were, like, talking shit and, like,
Hmm.
like, sucking their teeth and
Yeah.
whatever behind your back, do you talk to any of those people? Do you
Nope.
know where any of those people are? Do you
No.
care what any of those people think?
Hmm.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
I
So,
also feel like don't be the kind of person to, not report an injury because if it's not in your medical record, the VA is not going to put it as service connected.
correct.
Like if you come out and you did nothing and you didn't go to medical at all and you're just using Tylenol and Motrin at home for your pain and then you get out and you're like, I have all this back pain and they're like, you ain't come to us about shit. So that
Mm,
back pain is not from us. So it's
yep.
like any pain you feel, any concern you have, go to medical. They're not going to
Hmm.
kick you out unless you're in there saying, I'm going to kill myself. Then that's a different question. But,
Correct.
if you're going in there saying, I have a heart problem or have hip injuries or I'm feeling this kind of a pain, it's in your record. They're going to send you to a specialist. You're going to go through all this testing and then it's in there. So once you get out, now you can claim that and get paid because they caused that injury.
Yep. And people been in for so long and like they've never done any of this, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden it just hits them like a freight train, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, "How did this happen?" And
Yep.
medical is like, I don't know.
In my mind, I don't know. You didn't come to
Yeah,
me.
but this is the first time in 15 years you said your back hurt. I had no clue.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, nah, you
Yep.
gotta like when it first happens, and it's good to like have somebody like like one of your homies like take you with you to medical
Yeah.
and be like this way like you have that kind of support where you're like, dude,
Yeah.
like, yo, doc, this guy's seen it, man. Like I fell
Mm-hmm.
off a 40-foot ladder. Like I'm
Yep.
not lying. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no. It's
No, I
always
mean,
great to have buddies that see your injuries because then once you get out, there's something called a nexus letter. And they can write you a nexus letter, also known as like a buddy letter. They write you a letter saying like, hey, like I've seen it happen. This is how it affects her life. And I feel like this is necessary. So.
that's good. That's good to know. I had no idea that was actually a thing.
Yeah,
It's
I
called
had
a
all my,
nexus letter.
buddies that have seen me and all my injuries, write their nexus letters for me too. So it definitely does come into play because you go to these doctors that you see one time through the VA and they're like, what's going on? But they want to hear from family and friends because they're around you all the time. So,
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So that's just another thing to have like kind of in your medical record or on
Yep.
top of it when you hand your medical record in.
Yep.
That's dope. The new thing they're doing now is they're kind of moving away from paper medical records to actually like
Electronic record?
electronic ones, which is like kind of weird, but
Mm-hmm.
also it's a little beneficial, I think, because what I
Mm-hmm.
did is now I have like my hard medical record,
Yeah.
and you're supposed to like turn it in, but since I only have a short amount of time in my contract left and
Yeah.
everything's electronic, I kept it. I was like, yeah, I turned it in,
Might as
but
well keep it.
but yeah, but I have it.
Yeah.
And my electronic one, I just went through the entire thing. You can like ask for like a summary, and
Hmm.
it'll kind of give you like the key points of like everything you've
Yeah.
been seen for, every medication. I just went, clicked print on the government computer, and
Uh,
used 1,000 pages of the government printer and printed it all out. I was like, I
yep.
ain't printed that at home.
Hell no.
Nobody got that much
That's gonna
ink.
be a nice charge.
Yeah, yeah, facts.
Oh,
Hey, if you need to get up and take a walk, be
no,
my
I'm good.
guest.
I'm stretching. I try to push through it a little bit, but I've only been sitting for like 40 minutes. I can do it. I can do
I
it.
I want to make sure. I want to make sure that you're as comfortable as possible. I
No,
don't want
I'm
you to
good. Yeah, I'm gonna
overwork it
probably
or
move over
overdo
there.
it. Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Ooh,
So, Destiny, you finally you transition out of the military, right?
yes.
You still have all your medical stuff going on, but you're still working
Yes.
through it.
Yep.
What happens now?
Now I just attempt to live my life with these injuries that aren't going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the only thing that sucks is because, you get injured and, once you get out, it's like for me, I didn't want my contract to only, be a year after I got injured. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even plan to have a car accident in general. So it was like
Yep.
straight away, I was like, well, I'm doomed. But, I think it's just battling the fact that I can't do the original career that I wanted, and that was to stay in the Coast Guard for 20 years, do my schooling and become a radiologist and then get out and just do that. But
You wanted to be a radiologist. That's crazy.
yes, I wanted to do the whole nine, do the whole medical school, try it all, but didn't work out. So it's like you want to always have a plan B because, the military has its up and downs. You can be deployed, you can, be sent home, all this shit. And it's like, I got out and now they're handing out like 30, $40,000 bonuses just to join. That's just a
Yep.
join. And
Yep.
I'm like, damn, like I got in that motherfucker for free and they ain't pay me shit. And I'm
Nah.
fighting to get money now. Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
But I
it's
mean,
all a big pool, you know.
it's a freaking mind game. And I feel like as a woman coming in, it's like you automatically, you know, everything just seems a lot harder for you
Hmm.
because it's like it's a male dominated industry. You know, originally women weren't going in the military. We just stayed home. But, now it's kind of transitioned to where it's like women want to start, joining the military and doing these kinds of things, but you still kind of have that target on your back. And, I don't like to try to deter people from going into the military, but it's always like you got to keep your head on a swivel as a female. And it's like, there's a lot of sexual harassment, sexual abuse that people endure that gets swept under the rug. So I feel like just know to speak out when things like that happen. And even if it does get swept under the rug, just keep speaking out. That's about it.
Facts. And
And
if
that's
you hear
kind of what I
some,
try to help people with is like, if it happened to you, let someone know. And then if they don't answer, then go to someone else. If you got to go all the way up to the commandant, do what you got to do. Because you got to wrap that shit up. Because if you don't
yeah,
say anything, it will continue to happen. And then
yep.
that'll be that.
And best believe if you go that far, or you hit up a jag, or you go up
Yup.
to a commandant, they're gonna hear you.
Oh yeah,
They're gonna hear you
they don't give
loud
a
and
shit
clear.
about the one first class that you're complaining about at your station. They don't even who the fuck they are. So, still,
Facts.
do what you gotta
E-
do, say what you gotta say.
Yep. No, definitely, definitely. So, I mean, kind of working for you is impossible now, right? But what about
Yeah, no, I
schooling?
can't.
What about schooling? Are you
So
able
I
to
do
pursue that?
online school. Yeah, I do
Okay,
online school right now. I have a daughter, so going to school is a little bit more tricky. So
got you.
online school for now, and then once all the big stuff starts to happen, then she'll be in her own school by then. So we'll
Hmm.
just be in school together. But working is a big no for me.
What about like your GI Bill? Were you able to still use that since you
Yeah, I
did like
can.
over a
Since
year?
it's honorably discharged, I'm able to still use it. I'm gonna probably use it for my full 4 years because once I'm done and become a radiologist, I'll be making buku money and she don't need a GI Bill when she's ready to go to college. I would just be able to help her pay for it.
So
So,
we're still radiology
yep,
is still in the
it's in
okay.
the
All right.
works.
Hey,
So,
good for you. Good
yeah, I'm trying to stick with
good
something
for
here.
you. Yeah, facts. No, definitely.
Yeah.
If that's a goal, that's an ambition you had, and nothing's really stopping you from getting there. Like
Mhm.
you have time. Like time
Yeah.
is like one of the most valuable things, and knock
Mhm.
on wood, in a good way, but also a bad way. You got a lot of time on your hands now, so.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm glad
definitely.
you're making the best of it.
Thanks.
People
I'm
love watching
trying.
TV, but college is also important too.
No, I mean that's what you don't want to let the and that's kind of where I'm at. You don't want to let the military win. Like you don't want to get injured and then be like, "Oh, you're fine, you could just sit at home." And then you actually just sit at home, play the game and sit on your VA money. Like you damn sure don't want to do that because it's like you're
Nope.
not doing anything. You're at a standstill in life. Go to school. You don't even have to go to school for a sport or something stupid. If you like to play games, you can go to school for engineering and freaking, I don't know, build your own freaking video game. Like there's so much you can do just by
Mm.
going to school and try taking more steps forward. Because once you get at that standstill, it's really hard to get out of it.
Yep. And I mean, a lot of people do know this, but even when you do go to school, you're pretty much getting paid to go to school.
Yep. Yeah,
You know what
once
I
you're
mean?
collecting your VA money, you are getting paid just to go. And then
It-
they're paying for the school. So it's like you
It's a
get
win-win.
paid like you're working, but you're going to school and then they're paying for your school. So it's really like
Yeah, it's a win-win. Destiny,
win-win.
I'm glad you're doing great, man. That's actually phenomenal.
Thanks.
This is like Destiny's Child, but Destiny wins. You know what I mean?
Definitely
Like
win.
in the long run. I mean,
Yeah.
I commend you for joining the Coast Guard. You kind of had a choice. You were like, I can either go to college or I can join the Coast Guard, and you're
hmm
like, nah, you know what? Like I'm gonna
I
go in the
actually did both.
military.
I went
Egg,
to trade
egg.
school before the Coast Guard and
Oh,
then
really?
joined afterwards.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were like a late bloomer too. Like you joined the military not right at 18, like a
Not
little bit
right
after.
at it. No. I think
Oh,
I was
did
19 when I joined, so yeah.
okay. You had a little bit of experience, and then you went in and you were like,
Hated it.
"Why are all these people crying?" And then you were
Why
like,
are
"Oh
these
wait,
people crying?
that's me. I'm the one crying."
Yeah, that's my tears. Shit. I'm not sweating. Yeah.
Destiny, do you have any advice for anybody listening who's either in the military or thinking about joining the military?
I would say keep your head up. It is hard as shit.
Yeah.
If you're already in, kind of just strive to be the best that you can be. I know that some of the qualifications are a bit tough, and I know that sometimes things can get in the way, but don't let anything deter you away from your goal. If you have a goal to become something and it takes a long time to get there, start your motions now. And if you're joining, make sure that the branch you're going in is equivalent to, what you want to do and make sure that you push through basic training because that shit is damn sure hard and go in there knowing it's going to be hard and you're going to cry and you might break a finger. They don't give a shit. But it's like at the end of the day, just go in there knowing it's hard and you'll make it through perfectly
Facts. I couldn't have said it better any myself.
fine.
Destiny, do you have any questions or things you want to know about me before I let you go?
Yeah, I want to know. So the Navy, I've heard is like the easier kind of basic training. So would you
Okay.
say that it's more of like an easier route than it is for like, I wouldn't say Coast Guard because Coast Guard's kind of easy. But like Air Force and Navy, I've heard is like, well, Air Force, they baby the Air Force. They get whatever the hell they want. But
Yep.
like, based out of that, would you say that your basic training was extremely hard or was on the more easier side?
I would say on the more easier side. I mean,
hmm
the only other branches to compare it to the Marines and the Army. And we can
Yeah.
all picture what Marine boot camp's like, right? That's just like top
Shitty.
tier, like yeah, like
Yeah.
you're just not having fun. You go to sleep, you're still not having fun. The
hmm
Army, maybe like a step down from that. I mean, we don't really know. We didn't go through it, so
Right.
just from like what I can kind of tell. I mean, the Navy's like trying to like harden up. Like there's definitely a lot of like physical exercise. Like they definitely
hmm
let you know that.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lot of people like in your kind of division. I think you
Right.
start off with like 130, and then
hmm
you end up graduating with like maybe 70 or like 80. So yeah, then the number drops heavily.
Mhm.
And it's like you said earlier though, it's more of like a mental game, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's just you're being away, you're having to deal with like all these people you have no idea who they are from
Right.
different parts of the country. Like I've never
Mhm.
thought I would be in the same room as like five people from like Texas, like with an
Yeah,
accent, you know what I mean? I was like,
Alaska. Oh, that he walked in the, mind you, we went in August. He walked in the airport fully coated up. I'm like, dude, it's hot as shit. Take that
yeah,
shit off.
yeah.
God.
But that's the hard part is you just have to get accustomed to living and like kind of like
Mhm.
building a bond with all these people so that you can like graduate a lot
Yeah.
easier and not have to deal with all the bullshit on a daily basis.
Do you
But
have
to
any
get back,
cool underway stories at all?
so I've actually, I mean, underway. So I'm in the Navy, right? I'm still
Mhm.
currently active duty, but
Mhm.
I'm a Navy CB,
Mhm.
so I have never been on a ship in my life, and I will never be on a ship. Yeah,
Huh.
I joined the Navy to not be on a ship. Like a submarine, no. Aircraft carrier, no. I've been on a
No.
helicopter a couple times. That was about
Mhm.
it. What the CBs basically do is we get attached to like
Mhm.
marine units a lot,
Yeah.
and whenever we would forward deploy, we would help build camp in whatever like place that we were going.
Oh, okay.
Now, thank God, like we don't have to go Iraq, Afghanistan no more. That was
Mhm.
before my time though. I didn't have to go to any of that, so don't think I'm
Right.
like a hero. No, I just unclog toilets and whatnot. But we do a lot of vertical construction.
Mhm.
Our deployments are usually 6 months. I've been on three of them.
Dang.
I've been to Japan
Mhm.
and the Philippines a bunch of fucking times, and we'll just go and we'll build like hospitals or schools or like little like makeshift medical facilities,
Mhm.
and everything you would possibly need to go into a building to constructing it is what the
Yeah.
CBs are comprised of. So we have
Oh, okay.
electricians, we have plumbers, we have builders, we have equipment operators, we have
Mhm.
mechanics to operate the pressure washers so you don't have to, and then it all kind of ties into each other. But
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely did my research before I joined the military. I
Mhm.
didn't want to go to the Marines because I was like, fuck that, rather stay home.
Nope. Yeah.
I was like, I don't really want to go to the army. And I was like,
Mhm.
all my friends who were in the army, who are now veterans and living home, they were like,
Mhm.
dude, the Air Force is a bunch of pussies. Don't go there. And I was like, well, whatever that means, okay. So I was like, I'll join the Navy. Navy sounds cool, but I said I don't
Mhm.
want to go on a ship. Cause I seen
Yeah.
like videos of like the bunks and like I was like,
Oh,
not
they
for me.
suck.
Yeah, the only boats I want to be on are the one with Donald Duck and Minnie Mouse and
Right.
Mickey Mouse
Carnival
and
Cruise
fact.
Line, shout out.
Exactly, yeah. So I did a little bit of research. I talked to my grandfather, who was
Mhm.
he's a veteran in the
Mhm.
Navy, and he was like, "You should be a CB," and I was like, "Sounds good. What the fuck does that mean?" He was like, "They don't go on ships, and you
Mhm.
get to learn a trade." Right? I wanted to go into the
Mhm.
military and come out of the military with a skill. Right now,
Mhm.
it's back. That's big. It's bad over here. I'm in Virginia right now. It's bad. It's
Oh
bad.
Lord.
Yeah. So I wanted to learn like a skill, a trade. So when I do transition out, at least I can have like something under my belt. So right now, by trade in the Navy, I'm a plumber and an HVAC technician. So I can unclog your toilets and fix your air condition. I
Shit.
got you.
Got something. Shit, you got more than what
Yeah.
I could do. I could barely work my damn light switches half the damn time. I
well,
don't
I'm not an
know.
electrician. No, yeah. Well,
True.
because like they offered a couple of jobs, and I was like, well, what are those?
Right.
And I'm sure it's the same thing with the Coast Guard. Like when you go into the recruiting station, they try to sell you the dumbest job possible,
No, the
like a
worst
cook.
job possible at that. It's like, you want to jump out of an airplane into treacherous water and try to save someone? No, I can't swim. You don't want me jumping out of no
But
plane.
you join the Coast Guard. Like people do that all the time.
Right,
Like they
like
join
you
they,
do
they
it.
join the Navy. They're like,
I
I
didn't
can't
try to
swim.
join the swim.
Yeah, yeah. I joined for the college, and I joined to
Right.
see the
The
world.
college, the travel. I don't give a shit
Yeah.
about nothing but no swimming. You can keep the swimming over there.
Facts.
Uh,
No, but it's definitely been fun. I've been active now for about to hit 8 years.
mhm,
Probably by the time this episode releases, it'll be at about 8 years. But
mhm.
it's been fun. It's been fun. But this is my last contract. I'm done.
Yeah, you're
I'm done.
done.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Rack up that medical record while you're still in, man.
hey, man. My body's aging like dog years, man. I'm 30, but I'm walking around like I'm 80, man.
That's how it
Like
is, man.
me and my wife be on the couch, and she'd be like, "All right, come on, you ready to go to bed?" And I'm like, "You gotta fucking help me up, man." And it's like, I'm like, well, it
I've been
sounds
ready
like
2 hours ago. I want to go to sleep now.
yeah, it feels like there's a battery in my knee, and
Mhm.
that battery hasn't been charged in a while.
Shit, wait till you can't sleep. I get maybe 3 hours of sleep from either all the pain or the fact that I have insomnia, but it's like, then you're like, in the morning, and then you have a kid to run around with, so it's like you gotta have some kind of energy somewhere built up,
Yeah,
and it's so embarrassing being, my age with a damn cane and with my toddler in the other hand on the other hip, and I'm like waddling around, getting in the store, and everyone's like, "Do you need help?" I'm like, "No, I could do it. Just
yeah,
give me 20 minutes and I'm gonna get it." But,
yeah.
it is what it
Yeah,
is.
we all have to adapt. I mean, that's probably like the number one thing, not maybe the number one thing, but a powerful thing you learned joining the
Mhm.
military is adapting.
Yeah.
Just shit could be worse. It
Could be
could be a
worse. I
lot
could be in
worse.
a wheelchair, okay? I'm only on a cane right now, so I'm feel good on that.
That
I'll deal
hey,
with it.
knock on wood for that.
Yeah, I
Hopefully,
know, man.
hopefully you downgrade from the cane. Don't
Yeah.
upgrade, okay?
Oh, don't worry. They're already trying to put me on the what are those? A walker? And I was like, yeah, no, you can keep that. I'm good. I'm good. You
Yo,
might as well do a full blown hip replacement before you think I'm doing any kind of walker shit.
low key though, I've seen walkers that like old people got. Those things are
Oh,
decked
the
out,
rollators,
man.
the ones where you can
Yeah.
roll and then you can sit. No, I don't want to. I can't. I can't.
Yeah, but if you got tennis balls on the bottom of them, then like they're legit, If you ain't
Yeah.
got tennis balls, then like you're
Yeah,
new to the
nah.
game.
You
Like get out of
knew.
here.
Nah.
Yeah.
You need tennis balls.
Oh, facts. No, that's so funny. Nah,
Yeah.
for real, Destiny. This has been a great episode.
Thanks.
Anything else you got?
Nope. That's just
We're
about it.
good.
About to go
All right.
take my damn muscle relaxers and lay my happy ass down.
There you go. Netflix and muscle relaxers. That's like the best
Yep.
combination out
That's
there.
it.
Destiny, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, Freedom Empire. Thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in. Until next time. Views presented are those of the speaker, and the guest do not necessarily represent the views of the Department of Defense or its components. Neither the Department of Defense or its components bears any responsibility for the accuracy, legality, or content of the views discussed on this podcast. Now, without further ado, let's get into this.